Well, well. Hello, everybody, or at least Kale. I hope you can see me and I hope you can hear me. And, well, good evening to you. Here it is 8 a.m., which is way too early to do this. But that's what it is now. No, the idea was to sort of do more things for me. And since I realized that, like, the last week, I usually wake up around 7:30 and then I spend like hours doing nothing. I realized I decided to do something about that and just do like 2 hours of productive work and then go to the gym at 10. So I figured, well, I'll see if anyone is interested to do this live and do the usual live stream thing with like having a bit of a chat in the beginning, talking about what I plan to do, and then doing like a nice sprinting time and you can read, and I'll try to write something or do something else that can be counted as productive. And then we chat a bit more and do the same again. And then hopefully I've done actually something productive and feel not so bad for myself. And you have either had a productive evening or a productive morning, like me. Chad, yeah, that's totally fine. You are obviously someone who usually works for the living, so it's totally fine if you have the chance to stay in bed, to stay in bed. That's very, very much the good thing. Oh, hello, Osa. Wait, it's today's is today a holiday for some of you? Because I know for parts of Germany today is a holiday. It's All Hallows. Tomorrow is All Souls, which is those Catholic holidays. But the more Catholic part of Germany has a public holiday today, while the more Protestant part had a public holiday yesterday, it being Reformation Day in Germany, and the place where I live is is mixed, so we have neither. We had no holiday yesterday, and we have no holiday today. It's also one of the few times you can see me drink tea instead of beer. Yeah, I guess Belgium is more Catholic. It's probably that Spanish heritage that, or like past that kind of gave you that. But yeah, no, it's here. It's not a holiday today. So my goal today is to, I always talk about how I want to write a book, and I'll probably try to do that in the next couple of weeks. But today I still have to write a concert review, which I kind of pushed ahead of me because I'm really good at procrastinating and not doing things. And I went to a concert last week. I mean, I'll go to a lot of concerts, but last week I went to a concert where we had like accreditation. So a friend took pictures. Like he's a like semi-professional photographer, so not just using his phone there. So I have to write the text for that, and I kind of forgot doing that. And I'm like, oh, this would be like a really good thing to do this today to push myself to write something. What does AEDT stand for, Kale? I'm somewhat confused with that one. Um, okay. Well, that's like a thing with Australia. Obviously I have a lot of friends from Australia, in Australia, and some of them played in bands and still play in bands, and it's easy for artists from Australia to say tour in Japan or like other parts of like East Asia, comparatively easy, and it's very, very difficult and expensive to say tour in Europe, and that obviously goes the other way around as well. It's really, really expensive to fly there. Then of course, Australia being huge and not that many people living there means that you have like maybe 4 shows, but you still need to fly between shows or do insane driving, and that makes it very, very difficult, and obviously leads to the fact that like very few bands and few artists actually tour in Australia unless they have really, really big stadium shows that sell out and kind of work there that way. But you know, I guess it sucks, which is usually why when you go to like summer festivals in Germany, you meet a bunch of Australians because they just come over here for like summer holidays, which is your winter down there, and they go like 2 months and just like visit as many shows and festivals as possible, and usually get as drunk as possible. Oh yeah, I knew you were a teacher also. Like Germany, you have autumn holidays for school children as well, but I think the last ones stopped 2 weeks ago or last week. So they're usually like end of September, mid October, and not like end of October, early November here. But I kind of forgot about the fact that it's still autumn technically. Well, in that case, good night for you there, down in what is probably becoming like a flaming hellscape at this point, with summer hitting Australia. So yeah, I guess I'll try to write a review for a concert of Within Temptation, Anne is Okay, and a Ukrainian band called Blind Eight, and it was a good show, I guess. Although it's not necessarily my kind of music anymore. I've grown beyond the sort of like slightly gothy symphonic metal phase that I had probably like 25 years ago. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, good night, Shanine's Shelf. And Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That's complicated. That's just how many time zones does Australia have? 2, I guess, in that case. Yeah, so I have to figure out how to talk about that kind of concept. The problem is I have to write this in German, which it may sound stupid, but writing stuff in German is much harder for me than writing stuff in English. Not that writing stuff in English is easy, but since I like most of my reading is done in English, and most of my talking is done in English these days, and most of the stuff I had to write for, like, say, the record label stuff and whatnot, like PR, like texts and shit like that, is all done in English. And I'm like, it feels so weird to write like sentences in German at this point, which is probably bad. So yeah, that's kind of the goal for today, to finish that thing and maybe start scripting out parts of the Mormonism video, or at least making like list of bullet points how to structure individual videos. Obviously can't write like a full script, which is good and bad at the same time. Anyway, what are you guys planning to do while I type slowly? Are you planning to read stuff, or planning to actually do something creative, or just stay in bed with cats, which is also a valid choice? Five. Wait, this time, does it mean that some of you have like the daylight savings and some part of Australia does not have it? That's interesting. Yeah, cats can be demanding that way. To be fair, that dogs can also be very demanding, and Yeah. I think that's like one of those interesting, like how space kind of gets diluted by distance, in a way that you that it's very easy for people over here in, say, Europe to kind of forget how incredibly large Australia basically is. And it's like, this is not just, a small island that we've called continent. It's not like the UK or anything. It's a full continent, and it's very easy to kind of lose sight of that because it is so far away in both, like, geographically and time wise, because travel is still, complicated there, because there's like no, you have to fly somewhere to Japan or Singapore or whatever and change planes. It's like a 20-hour flight or something from Germany to Australia. And it feels so far away that it kind of gets smaller by distance, which is super weird. Ooh, is that in Spanish or is that in English, that you're grading right now also? Ah, I have not heard of the passage. I mean, I think I've heard of the title, but I have not had any more contact with it in English. Okay. Well, in that case, good luck with that. I'll start writing that concert review thing, and I'll talk to you in like 45 minutes, I guess, which is at 9 p.m. for me and whatever it is in Australia. Let me just find the button to mute myself. All right. Hello again. Yeah, I looked at the time. It is, in fact, 9. So, how are you doing? I did write some, which is good. I still feel bad about what I wrote, but it's a start. Also, I forgot how much work it is to write like a concert review, because you constantly have to look up stuff like how's that musician spelled, what's the set list, and all of that stuff. And I think that's actually good for me, because it allows me to sort of almost procrastinate by switching off the writing with reading stuff, which is definitely helpful for someone like me with like really bad ADHD. And I'm like, oh, I have a reason to not type something now. I can actually look something up. Now, that's an interesting question there, Kale. I have no idea. So yeah, I think 2/3 done with the writing for this review. I have no idea how many words that is, though, because I didn't look at like a word count. But I wrote about the first two, like the two opening bands, and now I just have to write about the headliner stuff. And I have the set list, and I know when they had like guest singers and stuff, so I guess I'm mostly safe there. Which makes me feel almost like I, actually did something today, which is good. And then after that, I'll try to read The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. I don't know how I'll feel about it tomorrow or later today, but I decided while I'm working on the Mormon project, I'd rather have like one video out this week. And Fury of the Gods, I already have videos for the first 2 books, and while I don't like them, I'm really bad at not finishing series, so I'm going to talk about it. I think it's interesting to talk about it, and like what Gwyn does and how he does these things, and why so many people like them and why I don't. So I'm gonna learn a lot about Viking stuff again. Also, I guess like listening to a John Gwynne Viking audiobook at the gym is as close as I'll ever get to being really, really masculine. So maybe it's good. I don't know. So how's the Sims playing going, Kitty? I've never played Sims. Maybe that's also part of being toxically masculine, that you never play Sims. Oh, Weird Sisters, great, Chad. Yeah, I love that book. It's so funny, and I think it's sort of in that Discworld part where Discworld really takes shape, or the shape that it ends up having, and Pratchett is more confident in what he does, and the way he does these things. He's slowly discovered how to have like actual plots that make sense, and tell stories that he wants to tell, and he's figured out what to do with the witches in Weird Sisters, and so in that case, it's a really good book. And it has like one of those like things that Pratchett gets really good at later, and doesn't necessarily do much of in the first couple of books. Like Pratchett is one of the strengths of Terry Pratchett that I think people often underestimate is Pratchett was an incredibly good at observing human behavior, and like actual like realistic human behavior. And there's like these short moments where he just like writes like 2 sentences, and there's like so much stuff behind it that feels so powerful. And I think Woods, this is like one of the first books where he has one of those scenes where I'm like, whoa, this is not just comedy. This is actually something really serious, sort of hidden behind a lot of comedy in a lot of ways. And I think that's one of the things that makes Weird Sisters stand out, that he's more confident in putting these elements in. And I mean, obviously he plays with it in Mort when he talks about death a lot, but it's more focused, I think, in Weird Sisters. Well, you're an English teacher, and it's all about Macbeth, so I'm sure you, and Shakespeare in general. So I guess you're kind of forced by law to like Weird Sisters. Yeah, I hope it's not toxic masculinity for you either, Chad. Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not for me either, for me as well. But I don't know. It just never seemed like something I was interested in with Sims, and I'm like, I'd rather play Populous when I be the god. No, I don't know. I played SimCity a lot, but never The Sims. Just never felt like something I was interested in. Yeah, SimCity in the 90s was like one of those. SimCity and Civilization were the games that people played in the 90s when they wanted to play anything like simulation wise, I feel. Yeah, Tetris, why not? Like I played a lot of Civilizations back in the day, and some stuff like Baldur's Gate and things like that. But I don't know. I've never been that much of a, like, even when I used to play video games, I was never that much of a gamer, except for Civilization, which cost me so many nights when I was still at school. But yeah. So yeah, like I don't know how far you're into Weird Sisters, but it's fairly early on. There's a scene with the witches and the theater group, Charlie, and that's like the one that I mean, where I'm like, suddenly there's like he just talks about like two people looking at each other, and just in that one gaze, there's like all that emotion packed in, and I'm like, holy shit, we're not in Kansas anymore. There. Well, it's fairly early on, but I mean, it's still like the early Pratchetts, which are fairly short compared to some of the later ones. Although, I mean, even the later ones are never like, I don't know if any Discworld book is over 400 pages. Maybe Unseen Academicals, which is the longest one, but still need to finish my Discworld reading. But like everyone who was part of the Discworld read along group has had like all kinds of like life stuff happening over the last month, so we're still missing 2 books. We're still missing a conversation and then a video on Raising Steam and one on The Shepherd's Crown, which is going to be hard. But I should probably start talking to people again and see if they're ready to resume that whole thing. Because, having these like series of videos and leaving them sort of unfinished always feels really bad for me. And I'm really good at starting stuff and not finishing it. So I'm glad I at least managed to finish the Black Company video series earlier this year. And now that I've made videos for like 39 or 41 Discworld novels, I feel those 2 final ones should happen this year, if I can make it. But that's kind of the problem, right? For me is I have all these ideas, and when it comes to actually doing stuff, I'm really bad because for me, I feel like the trouble is when I record a video or when I write something down. And I don't know if you guys have the same thing when you're trying to do these kind of things. Like, it's very difficult because it means I have to sort of settle on one version. I have to make things definite. I have to make like an actual definite choice that will have consequences in a way, and that's what I struggle with. Like, I can have like all these like phrases and stuff floating around in my head, and once I have to say one and go like, yeah, that's what I mean. Making that final choice is something that I really struggle with, because I'm scared of like consequences, which is ridiculous to say when we're talking about fantasy book video on YouTube, but it kind of is in there. Sure, make a video. Why not? I mean, booktube videos are rarely like visually interesting. It's usually just you know, people sitting in front of their phone or whatever. And I mean, if you don't want to show your face, you can always just, you know, record audio and just put like the picture of like the book cover as like a static image over it. That's also like always a possibility. But you know, the more people talking about books on booktube, the better, I think. um Audio is not, I mean, most phones have, like more modern phones have like really good microphones, so it's not that hard. Like the most, I guess, like the difficult part with like audio is to avoid too much like echo, I guess, in a way. So recording in like a place that has very little background sound is like is important, and ideally, you know, have something that soaks up the echo in a lot of ways, which is why a lot of people record stuff in their car. For example, cars have like really good audio isolation, and I know people that when they record sort of like more like better quality audio, they sit down in like their wardrobe, huddle under like all these clothes because, yeah, once one cloth does cover sort of like soak up all the noise in a lot of ways. So if you want to maximize audio product quality without any more like spending any money, those are the two tricks that I know. Okay, very good. If you show your face, you show your face. Yes, I'm glad you're making them a priority, Chadia. I'm obviously a bit of a fan of Discworld, and I'm always happy when more people read them. And I'm very happy that you're going through them like at this point, is sort of in publication order, because I think it helps. And Pratchett changed so much over these like 30, 40 years that he wrote books, roughly 40 years, I think. Um, and you can see how Pratchett as a writer and as a person changes, and how his interests change, and how Discworld in reference to that also changes, and how he figures out stuff, or he gets annoyed at something new every second book, which is, I don't know if he ever was diagnosed with ADHD, but it feels very ADHD to me, the way he does these things. Like he gets sidetracked and suddenly he has like this one thing that he's really interested in, and then it has to fit into the next book, and then he moves on to the next thing. But there's like some sort of core things that come through fairly early on and that stay with Pratchett throughout the whole like series that I very much appreciate. There's like a very clear sort of like moral backbone to what Pratchett does with Discworld, and that's always something that I like, which is why I also really like the Malazan Book of the Fallen. Yeah, it sounds so ridiculous, but yes, it's very much people recording in their cupboard, in their wardrobe, something that soaks up the noise, I guess, is the most important part there. Yeah, that's the point. Like, communism may have 5-year plans, but you're so much ahead with your 40-year plan. Luckily, Equal Rights is a fairly short one, and I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. I mean, I know Chadia liked it. I like it as well. The sad part about Equal Rights is that it's still one of those early Discworld novels where the world isn't really settled. So a lot of stuff happening in Equal Rights does not come up again for a long time, because, yeah, the world kind of doesn't actually reflect those changes until way later. Yeah, Mort is not very doesn't work really well as a character. I think yeah, Death obviously works really well, and I think you might enjoy the next Death, like purely Death novel, which is I almost want to say Reaper Scale, but it's Reaper Man. Reaper Man is really, really good. That's number 11, I think. 11 or 12, somewhere around that time in publication order. But yeah, I mean, Granny Weatherwax, I think, was Pratchett's favorite character. There's obviously a lot of Terry Pratchett in Sam Vimes, but Granny Weatherwax is his favorite character. I still have to read. There's a collection of essays on Terry Pratchett philosophy, and Terry Pratchett is Discworld philosophy. One of those, like a bunch of philosophers writing essays, philosophy essays on Discworld themes. And a good friend of mine who used to be a philosophy teacher at university, and then we just were friends afterwards when he moved to a different city and whatnot. He wrote an essay on Granny Weatherwax in that collection, philosophy collection. I still have to read that one though. The luggage is really, really cool, and the librarian. The librarian is probably one of my favorite characters. Yeah, the luggage is. There's a later book where they are in a place that is very much totally not Australia, and the luggage is then called Trunky because it has to be Australian. It's a yeah, a very powerful traveling rune on it as well. Anyway, let's do the second part of these sprints. I'll try to finish my review. I have to talk about Within Temptation now, and it's going to be interesting. After that, I'll come in and say goodbye and everything, and then I'll run to catch the bus so I can actually go to the gym and listen to John Gwynn. Anyway, good luck with reading and The Sims and all the other things you're doing. I'll talk to you around 10 a.m. Gods, that's early. Hello again. I hope you can hear me again. How was your second moment of reading, Sims playing, waking up? Hello, Ida. I did, in fact, manage to finish writing my review, so I feel confident for this stuff. I guess I have to, go over it again and read it once again, kick out all the, all the mistakes I noticed, and then I can upload it to the website. And luckily, we do have editors, so someone else has to proofread it, and I'm spared that specific problem. So that's good. And sadly, I didn't get to scripting any of the Mormonism stuff, but what can you do? And yes, Kitty, I am in fact sort of taking half of a break of the Mormonism stuff. The problem is that if it'll take a while to record the whole Mormonism video. Even if I start today, I don't think I'll be done before the end of the week, and that would mean that I have like no video this week. And since I'm very much a grind tuber now, I guess I felt like I should probably do something. And Fury of the Gods felt like the kind of book that I can just like breeze through. It doesn't take too much thinking, I feel, and in the way that like reading Kirinya by Ian McDonald would definitely take a lot of energy right now, or like certainly derail my general thoughts, I guess, because it's Ian McDonald and he talks about colonialism and post-colonialism in Africa, in Kenya mostly, and the HIV crisis and stuff. It's a book that has a lot of stuff in it, and just a bunch of like sort of were animal Vikings marauding through whatever place sounds like something I can just blast through. So I'm doing that today, but I'll definitely go back to reading more Mormonism stuff later today. I think when I'm back home, I'll try to read some of the other stuff that I still have on that list, and ideally I'll record the first part. I have to record that video in parts anyway, so that'll be interesting. What class are they in? Like, how old are your students there, also? Because that sounds like something, I don't know, early grades, I guess. Anyway, so yeah. Oh, one thing I found really fascinating. I've mentioned this before. I'm currently doing the weird YouTube channel membership boot camp, which is like a series of presentations and workshops and stuff on how to do channel memberships. And beyond anything else that I have like issues with in that, what I found fascinating, someone asked the whatever they're called, partner manager yesterday, is like, why we specifically, us group of YouTubers selected for this specific program, and they were like, well, we looked at the data and you seem to be the kind of channels that would be successful using channel memberships. And I don't trust data at this point, I guess, because I don't think that my channel is the kind of channel that works that way. But interesting to know that Google's data thinks that I am. So that's just like something really weird and funny that happened yesterday. I was like, Google thinks you can be successful. And like, so that was weird. 16 to 19. Okay, well, I mean, I guess I have forgotten how bad my English was when I was 16, which I guess is a good thing that I don't no longer remember that, because I'm pretty sure it was really bad. Not that it is that much better now, but at least I know the difference between which and which. Chadia, I don't know how many YouTubers got that invite. I guess I should ask other booktubers. So the thing is, they sent that out to, I think, everyone who is already above the level where they can use channel memberships, because you have to qualify for it by having, I guess you have to be monetized to even start that, which would mean you have to have like 1,000 subscribers at least and 400 watch hours in the last 12 months. So that probably restricted to, at least in BookTube terms, quite a bit. And then you had to apply for it, and then they selected people, and I figured I'll apply to it to see what happens, and I think that's part of how that works. Oh yeah, Chad. Yeah, I totally agree with you. That I mean, it is basically the same thing as Patreon, just it's integrated with YouTube to make sure that that money also goes to Google and not to a different company, and it beyond like having the tighter integration where people get like special emojis and badges or whatever for like chat and comments. I don't see anything going on there. I just like figured I'll take that workshop to appear willing and learn how YouTube works behind the scenes, so to speak. It doesn't mean that I have to even use channel memberships, but it's something I've learned at this point, or I'll continue learning. That's an interesting point there, Ida. Yes, at least that's. All right, everybody. It is 10 a.m. here, and I'll better run to catch my bus so I can go to the gym and listen to Were Vikings. Were Vikings. That's a weird word. And yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. I hope you have a successful day and get stuff done, or at least your Sims get stuff done. And if you have a public holiday, enjoy that holiday. Sadly, I don't have a holiday, but tonight there's a doom metal concert in my town, so I guess I'll go to a band that is called Atomwinter, which means nuclear winter. And doesn't that sound fun? Does it? So yeah, thanks everyone. I'll do the same thing on Monday again, because weekend is weekend, and I know there's obviously, I think Barbara over at Bookworm Wonder will do productivity sprints tomorrow from like 9 a.m. onwards. And Sunday, I don't know what happened on Sunday. So yeah, thanks everybody. I'll see you hopefully, very soon. You'll ideally see a video on the Fury of the Gods on Sunday. And if all goes well, I have recorded at least 1 or 2 parts of the Mormonism video by then as well. So yeah, have a good day.